Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. How's everybody doing today? Hopefully pretty well. Hopefully pretty good. Oh, let me make sure to mute that. Boom. Awesome. Awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. So good morning once again. So yesterday was a pretty crazy day in the market. NBEV and IGC went pretty crazy. If you guys watched the recap video, I basically broke even, had some really choppy trading in the beginning. Once I kind of hopped offline with the premium group, I was able to come back and actually do some better trading. I always find it a little bit harder for me to trade as effectively when I'm watching multiple chat rooms. So still something I deal with every day, trading in the beginning of the day with managing a chat room and answering questions on our live stream. So going back and forth through all these things, it's I don't only trade in the morning, right? Top of my trading, I'm answering questions, managing a chat room, managing a live stream. So there's multiple things I do while trading. So it is another kind of learning curve and task that I always have to do on top of my trading. And I notice it can be it kind of hurt my trading a little bit, affected a little bit. So anyways, guys, my name is Connor Polifrone with ConnorPolifronePicks.com, and I've been absolutely killing it in the market this year, which is 3 simple strategies, all right? You can join the first link in the description to get my 3 simple strategies and absolutely kill it in the market this year. I'm up 220%. Should I have not done that? That was just too much fun. I had to do it. Oh, gosh, I love myself sometimes, and I hate myself sometimes. Yes, Chris, if you join Boiler Room Trading, you can see us trade live every day. Yep, that's the first link in the description. Oh, too much funny. Anyways. All right, guys, so let's go over to the next screen. Here you are. My watch list, pretty much, I might trade something else other than those 2 stocks, but those are going to be the main ones I'm watching, IGC and NBEV. Again, they're still hot and people continue to trade them, so I don't know why there's no point for me to look, elsewhere. I know where people are at trading them. Plenty of little squeezes and reversals and plays to get on that. So we might touch on a few others. I know some people are, excuse me, interested in VTVT. Some people might still be trading OGEN, DTEA. So there's a few that we might also talk about. But we'll see. Yeah, the SFIX was just my a thesis in the morning was it just basically went right out of the gates. I didn't want to chase it down right out of the gate, so I ended up missing that play. But again, that was a great short play if anybody got that. I didn't get it myself, unfortunately. I found myself missing a few of those good runners to the downside lately, so it is what it is. I'm not perfect, so. Turn the mic up. Hold on. That should help it a little bit more. I turned up the gain, so you might be able to hear it just a little bit more now. And then also, the thing about the trading room, it's not necessarily there for you to trade alongside with us. The number one thing we recommend people to do when joining into our trading room first is go through the whole course so you know exactly how it is we trade and you can learn. And then paper trade with us in our live trading room first so you get the hang of our room, and then you can kind of aim into using real money. It's still extremely hard to follow a trade exactly because we all see it a little bit differently, but it's really there for you to learn. I can say this, right? So for the people that joined us, even when we first started, over about a year ago now, the people that stuck with us that whole time are the ones now in our room that make pretty much consistent profits, weekly. We've had a few people in there that have gone on 14-day green streaks, no losing. So, that's another thing, right? Big misconception that when you join into a live trading room with someone like me, that you're just going to instantly make money. That's not how it works. You need to actually learn first, practice, joining into a live trading room on top of your trading in general. That's another learning curve to get used to. So it definitely takes some time to get used to a new environment like that. So best recommendation is if you guys do end up joining, you have to learn our course, learn the material, hang with us in the live trading room, learn from us before you think you can kind of still jump in and just start killing it, right? um, so we're gonna go into let's go into next screen here. We'll get into sharing the screen. We'll hop back to this for anybody that tunes in a little bit later. All right, so I'm gonna first start with NBEV because I like it the most. So NBEV kind of popping up a little bit here this morning. Now, I'm not, all crazy that it's going to be a great long play or crazy it's going to be a great short play. Again, there's still a lot of hype around these. And a lot of people still want them to go up. Many want it to go down. That's why it had a trading day like this. That's why we got these big drops, right? That's why we got this massive drop and massive pushback, followed by a drop, followed by a squeeze up, followed by a drop, followed by a squeeze up, followed by a drop, followed by, that's the reason it's going back and forth is because it's rallying. People want to short them, people want to long them. So it's not creating a very just one directional play all day long, specifically yesterday. So this was actually pointed out by one of our members that I hadn't even seen, which I kind of like actually. So let me do this 180-day 4-hour chart. This could potentially, NBEV, be turning into a cup and handle pattern, which is an extremely bullish pattern, right? This could be turning into, excuse me. So there's a couple things. It could be a double top. Okay. It could go like this and then start performing into kind of like channeling or down. And then it could also be a cup and handle. Oh, let me start from here down and go like that, right? So there's a couple possibilities here. So we're still keeping an eye on it. It's got a lot of volume, right? If you look at the volume here, I mean, the volume per day is over 40 million for, stock of this size or this price. That's very active. So we're still following it closely. If you look from here, if you go from kind of the highs down, you can see it's breaking through that trend line. So it is kind of reversing direction here. So if this kind of pulls back and holds, might be setting up for another good long play. The only kind of downside is there's a lot of chopping around yesterday. So there's a lot of potential resistance points, which could then cause some like choppy moves up. So we're still going to watch it. I want to play it both long and, I can't short it on this account. So I'm not really playing anything short on these, both IGC or NBEV. But just being optimistic, there's probably going to be some long plays, reversals. I mean, if you look at this one yesterday, look at that reversal play. I actually caught a little bit of that and then sold out just way too early. I didn't anticipate it was going to squeeze that much, so that's why I hopped out. But, same thing. Eduardo, I can't answer that right now. So again, you can message me on the chat room. There could be a couple reasons why you can't. If you have multiple, usernames on our chat room, if you're not logged into our site at the same time. So a couple things. Many people have been able to do it no problem. So it's probably something on your end that you have to kind of fix before it'll allow you to do it. So NBEV, what I would do is just mark off some resistance points from yesterday, which would probably be, well, for one, the pre-market high today, which is at about 770. Then I'd go ahead and I would even mark off, I'd mark off the $8 mark. Then I'd mark off yesterday's kind of high day area around 850s. That'd be another good point, 850s and on. So I would just kind of keep those in mind right there. 770 pre-market high today. $8 kind of chop area from yesterday, and then the 850 mark, kind of some resistance. You have the pre-market support down here at 650, along with kind of the low a days and after hours supports on NBEV yesterday around like 675. So I'd put around 680. Let's move into IGC now. So IGC, as you can see, ironically, pop up, pull back, pop up, pull back, massive squeeze, failed to get over the previous highs, and now it's rolling down. But the only thing about it is it hasn't yet broken down. So this one, I don't like the setup as much as NBEV. This one makes me a little bit nervous because the difference between IGC and NBEV is this. If we look at NBEV, we'll go to a 180-day chart. I'm actually more bullish on NBEV. If you go to this, it's pulled back, right? So it could be looking for like a little bit of a bounce day or the possible cup and handle pattern. If you look at IGC, IGC is just a bubble, right? That's really all it is. That's it. Yeah, IGC is still just a bubble, which I think wants to come down a little bit. So I'm not as long biased on IGC. If it starts going long, I'll take it long, right? But I'm actually a little bit more short bias on it. But again, I'm not going to play the bias game. Whatever it wants to do, it'll show us eventually. But there's something about this chart that to me just doesn't look nearly as good as NBEV in towards of a long bias play. No T or no Mr. Lee, no promotions right now. So again, those are going to be the two ones I'm watching, right? So IGC, I would just wait a little bit for something to set up, but NBEV is starting to look a little bit better than IGC at this point to me. So those are going to be the two stocks that I'm currently watching today. All right, now, how did I do yesterday? I ended up, when I got off or stopped the recording, I was break even basically, and then I ended my day up $4,300. So again, it's when I get offline and I can kind of just sit back and do my thing and not have to worry about answering questions. I usually tend to trade a little bit better, so it's just kind of it. Ended up 4,000, all right, 4,000 like 280 or something like that. I'm basically just trading IGC and NBEV all day long. Reversals, scalp plays up and down, so it ended up being a pretty good day. Now, we'll take a look at VTVT because I know everyone's asking about that. So VTVT is grinding up. There is possibility for this to keep going, but you do have to keep in mind that it is coming up to a big resistance, which is a gap fill, right? So this thing gapped down here, and now it's spiking up right now basically to fill that whole gap price. So it's coming up to a major resistance. So I'm not crazy about VTVT. You know, if it keeps running, it keeps running. But at this point, it's basically filling that gap, which means naturally they're usually going to be done running. You know, once they fill their gap, they usually have finished their run for the day. So I'm not super crazy about that. And then also, I think, yeah, if you look at this, what is this price? 3,259. So we're over that. Yeah. Again, that's just it, right? You can see this gap fill area. And what's the price right now? Yeah, so it has up to, I would say, about 332 to run, maybe. And then I think it would hit resistance and kind of get stuffed and be done. So that's kind of where I'm at with VTVT. So it's got a little bit of room to go before it completely fills that gap down fill. Antonio D, that's up for you to determine whether or not you should hold something or not. I don't hold penny stocks, and the stock's in a bubble. So again, you have to determine how much money can you lose. Is it a good setup? Is it not a good setup? What's the risk like? That's something as an individual trader you have to determine. I cannot tell you whether or not you should hold something or not. Let's see. We'll look at OGEN because I know a lot of people are talking about that. Oh, what do you know? It's pulling back as we expected. So I didn't trade it. It ended up being a pretty good long. I will agree. You know, there's a good long, ran a little bit longer than I had thought it would, which is cool. Happy for anybody who was trading that. But it's doing exactly what we anticipated. It's starting to pull back, starting to crash. I personally would not be long bias on this stock anymore. Let me look at the 1 minute chart. I mean, yeah, I wouldn't be long bias on the stock anymore. With this move, I would say it's probably starting to pull back, and it's going to start coming back down as it normally does. With some luck, maybe it keeps going, but theoretically, if you look at the chart history and pattern, it's most likely getting ready to start coming back down. Let's see. TNDM, what's going on there? Hey. So this is fading off of highs. Ooh. That's a no bueno right there, ladies and gentlemen. That's not good. Not good. Sorry to say, but it's not. Okay? So, Yeah. So if you look at this chart, you'll see that, well, actually, we got to go to the yearly chart first. Yearly chart shows that we bounced off the 50 moving average. We went up, we put in a lower high, we came back down, broke the 50 moving average. So now we have broken through a major moving average support level. You know, the idea here is that maybe it holds support around the 34 area, 35, which it's kind of doing. But I would start being short bias on TNDM. I wouldn't be long bias at this point. There might be some bounces, but I mean, if you look at the stock, I mean, from when it did its golden cross, right? From its golden cross, the stock is currently, hold on, from the golden cross, the stock is currently up 641%. Wow. 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 That's big. That's pretty big. That means there's a lot of risk involved with that stock right now being up that high. It just broke through its 50 moving average. So at this current moment, TNDM has a lot of room that it can come down. So I would be very nervous on that particularly. You can see it's got a nice steady downtrend. It's just broken the 50 moving average. I can't predict the future of exactly what's going to happen, but all signs of it right now are pretty bearish, right? So I wouldn't be buying that right now. I'd actually be looking more short bias. I'd be looking for it to pop up and then short a pop on that. MNGA. So yeah, MNGA, little penny stock, 50 cents, starting its little spike. This could be good. This could go on like a little run. I mean, if you look at it, it went crazy in after hours trading. So it made most of its move in after hour trading. I wouldn't be buying this out of the gates. I would just follow it for right now. The difference between, oh, that's 180 day. I gotta go to a 1 year chart. So yeah, 1 year day chart. That, I mean, theoretically has a lot of room that it could run up. Yeah, you could watch MNGA. This thing might start moving. If you look here, naturally every time it spikes, it does fail. But the difference between these spikes and this one is these are spiking on a downward move. This one's kind of, you know, kind of curling up more, I'd say. So it might go on a little bit of a run, but I mean, there's really nothing there to confirm that it's going to go crazy. You can check the news. I haven't checked any of the news. Hold on, I'm fiddling around with my charts a lot right now. So yeah, I mean, you could use the old spikes as some previous resistance sell points where you might see some sellers. That's just about it. Naturally, penny stocks like this never break $1. So if it does continue running and it gets close to $1, I'd start looking to sell around that dollar mark. AMRM. Oh, AMRN, just an ugly looking stock now. AMRN's starting to lose volume, so I'm probably going to stop focusing on that stock. You can see, right? Volume, massive decrease, which means the moves are going to start getting a little bit more choppy. So I'm not going to be paying attention to that anymore, but AMRN moves pretty stupid at this point. So without the volume, it gets harder to project what it wants to do. So I don't know. Honestly, I really don't know, right? It pulled back yesterday, popped up, gapping up today. A lot of people are trying to short it, so it actually put in a little bit of a higher low, so maybe watch it for a break to the upside if it can get over one of these trend lines. But that's what you need to do. You need to draw some trend lines from the highs following the lows and a trend line from the low following the higher lows, and that should give you some type of pattern to possibly go off of. BILI is gapping up today. Let's see, BILI. Yeah, pretty big gap there in BILI. 180-day chart. So it just broke over resistance. Yeah. So it just had a break over some key level resistance. That's why it's squeezing up. So yeah, maybe you could keep it on watch, but this big gap to the upside, I'm assuming it's probably going to pull back. So we'll see. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's all I have for you today on our pre-market watch list. Hopefully that helps some of you guys determine what you're going to trade and learn a little bit along the way. Yeah, you could do TC2000. You might be able to do Trade Zero. There's a few of them you can use. Again, I live in the United States, so I don't have to. I've never used them. Never had a reason to. But anyways, guys, I'm going to take off now. So everybody have a good day, and I'll see you guys all later for a recap video. Hopefully a little bit better than yesterday. All right, guys, take care.